Okay, so for this stream, I'm going to try and generate one more conversion on my Kickstarter campaign, and I'm going to do some more playtesting of the block mining simulation game. So I've been busy at work for the last couple of days on trying to look into some of the issues with the slow database writes. So today I've been filming all day today, and I'm just going to space out, mine some blocks, and I guess do a brain dump on some of the things that I worked on and some ideas to make the block mining game faster. So once again, I'll just do the same map. I know it's probably getting kind of boring, but it's nice to just be able to test the same thing. I can notice differences. One of the things that's different in this version is I rewrote how writes are committed. So before I had a routine that I thought was going to be fast, that was using like a special batch transaction, but then I was Googling about it, and then a bunch of people were complaining on Stack Overflow that apparently this specific class, it just when they stopped using it, it was like 100 times faster. So I actually changed it to stop using that, and I did not observe that much of a difference, but I'm not sure if it's if it'll change once the database is kind of full. So it's behaving reasonably now. So before it was using a prepared statement and then using this fancy like batch write class. And in the current version, I saw a lot of people saying like just rewrite it as rewrite queries as like raw SQL. And so that's what I'm trying now. I think it was something to do with like a bug in this batch setter where it would run every single insert as an individual transaction instead of what we're supposed to do, which is batch the whole thing. So I rewrote it so it's a single multi insert. And let's see, the other thing I worked on was J and I. So one of the things that I want to improve next is the user interface. I want to refactor it, make it so that I can actually like support a help menu. And part of that is going to be refactoring how stuff is written to the screen. And as part of that, I also want to make it so that when I resize the terminal, so like if I unmaximize it right now, it'll break everything and I have to restart it to make it look half decent. So to fix that, I need to listen to the signal sig WINCH signal, and when I catch that signal, then I can resize the terminal. I can regrab the current dimensions of the terminal, and then based on that, I can redraw it correctly. And to do that, I thought that I could do that natively in Java, but it turns out that I can't. I found some like POSIX signal handler class, and I looked into that. There is another API. It was like some like Sun Microsystems API, but I guess it's like a deprecated API that you're not supposed to use. I think I was able to use it, but I was getting warnings, and then because I have flags set to cause the build to fail if there's warnings, I couldn't get rid of it. But then there's also a special flag to get rid of that warning, because suppress warnings doesn't work. So I tried this special secret flag, and then I found out that in newer versions, this special flag to make the warning go away doesn't work. so I'm stuck with a warning. So then I decided, you know what, maybe I'll just look into doing it with JNI, because I'll eventually have to do that anyway for something. For a few things actually, any kind of there's a few like mouse interaction APIs. I don't know if I'll ever get around to doing mouse support, but I guess it probably, I have a feeling mouse support is something that people will really want. And I guess if I have the JNI, if I can already do the JNI calls, then at that point it's a lot easier to just add an extra call to start grabbing mouse events, and I could also access other stuff like ncurses APIs. And my brain is kind of soup today because I've been talking all day. I filmed another video. I just finished it today. I thought like, oh, this will take 2 hours, but then I have 6 hours of recordings. So we're at four viewers now. It's interesting how random YouTube seems to be and how it sends people to your channel. Oh, we got our first chatter. TR2 says hi. I wonder if YouTube uses the things you say. I wonder if it's like real-time speech recognition, and then it's like taking keywords you say and then finding people who are interested in that. I wonder if I've often thought that's maybe how it's like how it recommends people. I don't know how, I mean, YouTube, I think, must actually be very good at finding people, because I launched the Kickstarter campaign. I got I think like a couple. YouTube does do real time. Does it like find? Does it use that to match to pull people in based on interest? I mean, I guess it would make sense. Like it'd be, in the grand scheme of things, it would be so easy. You're subbed and you got an alert. Okay. Yeah, whatever YouTube does, it does find people who are really interested, because in the last stream, I mean, I only had like maybe 10 concurrent viewers at a time, but within that stream, I got three pledges to the Kickstarter, and I know, and I'm very confident that those conversions were due to being live, because I launched the campaign, and then there was no pledges at all for 3 days, and then, within the 1 hour or so that I streamed, I got 3 conversions on the Kickstarter campaign with only 10 concurrent viewers. So that means it must be very optimized. The machines are getting good at predicting and understanding us. Oh, I noticed my core utils guide was submitted to Hacker News last night. I was checking Hacker News, and then I saw my name on the front page for a little bit, and I was like, neat. But it didn't stay there very long. It looks like it was on the front page for a bit, like quite late at night, and then when I woke up, it was already on page 3 or something. Yeah, it's Hacker News. I used to, my start in content creation was writing posts for Hacker News, and I thought, if I keep, it's easier than I thought to get views on a blog post or whatever. So maybe I'll just keep doing this, and then my thought was build a mailing list or iterate somehow, and but in the last few years, it seems like anything written content is kind of, it's much harder to get engagement on it. And interestingly, even though the core utils post was on Hacker News, because that main page links to all the shorts videos. When I look at my YouTube analytics, it's barely even a noticeable blip. There is a little bit of an increase from external traffic, but it's barely a meaningful difference when it's on the front page of Hacker News. And that post got 170 upvotes or something. So it's not bad, but in terms of actual increase in views, but I guess it's good for brand awareness. Maybe I think it's probably an extremely high bounce rate. Probably a lot of people look at it and then just immediately leave, and they remember it in the back of their minds and think, I'll come back here later. There's too much AI generated text articles. Yeah, this that's something I've been meaning to, if I get around to it, I'd like to do a video specifically exploring that topic, to talk about the dead internet theory is becoming very real. I think it was within the last, I don't know, just before ChatGPT, maybe 6 months, a year before that. I've been writing blog articles for years, and I thought I might eventually get a decent number of if I get like many thousands of visitors to the blog per day. But there was a point where I just kept writing more articles, and it seems like the number of views to the blog kind of just hit a wall. It actually went down for a bit. They're the newspaper industry of digital media. Yeah, it's I don't know what's going to happen with that, because the thing is, when you think about it, like there's so much useful content out there. Like I remember back in the day, like looking up physics stuff for like school assignments, you'd find like some kind of a this like really horrible user interface website written by like a professor, and it would have a bunch of stuff about like how something in physics works, and it's the only source on the internet for like how to do some motion calculation or something like that. But it was a really good resource and everyone used it, and stuff like that does like really, really bad in search, even though it's like the highest quality result. So I feel like there's gonna have to be, like right now blogs are dying, but there's gonna have to be a resurgence, because there's so much valuable content out there on the web. Attention spans have shrunk as well. Convince there's a population level cognitive decline occurring. Yeah, there's cognitive decline is like if you say like a decrease in IQ points, I mean that could also be happening. But when I get out and talk to people, I notice more and more like people are more like in their own kind of like they're in their own radicalized bubbles. Like people, it's clear. Like if you spend all your time on a certain like subreddit or a certain you only watch a certain media source, you get kind of like radicalized into a certain way of thinking, and people have kind of are in their own bubbles about like I mean one example was I was talking I was at an event like for the whole rent eviction situation. I mean, I was out talking to one of the residents, and we were talking about how just so many things are falling apart in the world. And there was a member of the public there who's he I think he worked at a bank or something like that. And then we started talking about how government wants control, and they want to take away cash and stuff like that. And then I remember this guy who's like a professional with a 9-to-5 job at some like credit union or something like that, started talking about like cryptocurrency, and he was like totally sold that like everything's about cryptocurrency and it's going to be the future of everything. And I was just like, wow, this is this guy, like he seemed like the kind of person who would invest in those like scam coins then lose everything, but he's supposedly working as a professional and in something handling money. And then the other guy who was there was also like he had some really strong opinions on some of the stuff that's going on in the world, but at the same they're not like radicalized in that they're dangerous. It's more like everyone is radicalized and just thinks that everyone else is crazy. And like more and more I've noticed people reject true information. You're speaking to ideologues. They are not free thinkers. Yeah, I'm kind of hesitant to like discount someone's mind processing their uniqueness of their views, but I just see more and more people who like there's I've met people who like they're not their opinion is that like capitalism completely doesn't work and we need to go to like total universal basic income and stuff like that, which is mathematically there's no case for universal basic income. Like where's the money going to come from? And people like historically you might have a friend group where one person leans that way, but people can get together in these groups where they talk about these ideas and then it just becomes like a matter of fact. So they all just reinforce each other's point of view. And because everyone is so scared of misinformation, everyone thinks that information that's outside their bubble is like, some sort of, it's a conspiracy or something. You repeat slogans and talking points, not original thoughts. I don't know, some on some level, everything that's in your mind has to come from something externally. There's different degrees to which people process the information and give their own unique opinions. Germany is a perfect example of successful social policies. I don't know. Germany is. I know historically Germany's been like a great place for manufacturing. I know a lot of stuff that, especially like advanced weird semiconductor manufacturing and stuff, has come out of Germany, but their manufacturing has been kind of. They're starting to. They're no longer as amazing as they used to be. Speaking of German technology, there's the famous lens company Zeiss had they were very influential in like early semiconductor manufacturing, and for a period of time when Germany was split, there was apparently there was two different Zeiss companies, and I think there was a famous lawsuit of there's a famous lawsuit of Zeiss versus Zeiss for copyright infringement. It was the East German and West German version. That there's a YouTube channel, Asianometry, that has a video on the subject. Finally, I catch a live stream live. What's the Kickstarter? So I'm making this block mining simulation game, and it's a game where you move around and you simulate the process of mining blocks, and it's just a thing I'm going to do iteratively here and there. So I'm raising financing to finance a help menu because the game is cryptic and hard to understand. That's one. Zapizi lawsuit. I was referring more to universal healthcare and tuition-free college. Since you brought up UBI, yeah, I guess I'm not familiar at all with what things are like in Germany. I know someone who's thinking about going there, but at the same time, the grass is always greener. It always seems like things will be better if you go somewhere else, but I'm skeptical. Asianometry is great. One of the few guys that covers lithography tech in detail. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty niche subject. He pumps out a lot of content. It's very impressive how many of those essays he's doing. What's the tech? SD2L? I'm not sure what that is, but the game is written in Java. What makes you stay focused on your work, and how does your day go usually? Let's see, how do I answer that question? I guess I wake up, I write my to-do list. I've got like a kind of backlog of things that I'm trying to get through, and I maybe pick like 3 or 4 kind of small items to get through for the day. I guess it sounds cliche, but I do regular exercise too. I think that helps to I really do think that helps quite a bit mentally. SD2L2 is a C graphics library. Okay. Yeah, this is in Java. Although I did add some C++. Actually, this version right here has the JNI library in it. That's one of the reasons I'm testing it, even though it doesn't look different. It's a bunch of stuff I changed in this version. So I added I refactored the command line argument parsing, just so I can start adding new. One of the first new things I need to add is, now that I have JNI, I'm going to add a flag to disable JNI just in case it like crashes or the library's messed up. Yeah, there's adding JNI to this project was more difficult than I expected. There's just a whole bunch of simple steps to get going, and then to make it so the shared object file is actually included in the jar, and then to make it so that when you start, because what you have to do is you have to the Java code has to extract the shared object from the jar itself, and then copy it to a temporary file, and then load the jar from a file. Looks like a really chill game. Yeah, it is pretty chill. It's pretty simple. I guess kind of boring at the moment, but it's I think it's worked pretty well so far for my live streams. It's just a good it requires I can't really focus on my brain is single threaded. I can only focus on one thing at a time. So being able to because this requires almost no brain power, it's just move around and then spam the M key. Requires almost no brain power at all. And then I can actually read the chat. Why not show development on stream? I was thinking about really I need a faster computer, because to build on this one is so much slower. And the screen is like kind of small. Like technically I could, but I've just been, I don't know, it's too much brain power. Because once I start developing, I'm gonna just ignore the chat, and then it's, I guess, not really. In my opinion, the point of live streaming seems to be to interact with the chat. Streams where people just kind of sit there and stare at the screen are not really the ones that do too well. All right, let's find some ores. Since you do Java, have you tried Kotlin at all? It's cross-platform now. I have not. Yeah, how old is Kotlin? I'm sure probably someone mentioned it to me the other day, but I remember what was it? There was some IDE someone recommended, and then in one of the previous streams, and I was trying it out, and then I remember reading on it that it supports Java and Kotlin. Somebody anonymous says, "Hi everyone, how's it going?" Yeah, honestly, I'm not super. I like things that are old. I'm so tired of jumping on every bandwagon and learning every stupid framework that just gets abandoned in a little while. I would say if there's venture capital money behind it, then I'm not interested, because the whole project, as soon as the venture capital money runs out, then the project is dead. Or it'll run for a while, and then they'll switch from like a open source open model to be like, it's a locked down, you gotta do you gotta pay $150 a month, and then it's got telemetry and Quake 3 engine is all I need. I don't have one of those. This isn't too bad. This might actually be an improvement. I guess I'll play for a bit longer. I think it was about an hour in. It was starting to get like super slow before. Yeah, what I really need is I need to write some benchmarking tests. So something that'll just automatically start this, and then try to insert a whole bunch of blocks into the world, and give me some quantifiable results. It's my first time watching. Would you mind explaining how to play? So the game, the object of the game is to mine all of the blocks, and there's an infinite number of the blocks because it's an infinite procedurally generated universe, and so you can just come out to the blocks, and then you spam the M key, and then it mines all the blocks that are one cell adjacent to it, but it's kind of lagging right now. And that's basically it. So right now I've got 1,100 rocks. There's also, so I have some iron oxide and stuff. So let's get some wood. So you can go over to the wood. And mine this, but it's lagging. Oh wait, no, it is mining. I already have wood. I thought it would show over here. Okay, and so to craft, you press the C key. So if I press C, then there's only 2 recipes. And then, so first it makes metallic iron, and you press it again, then it makes, if you have the reagents available, it makes an iron pickaxe. You press it again, makes some more metallic iron, and you just keep spamming C, and then it'll make a whole bunch of iron pickaxes. And so now, when I go over here and press M, it'll mine a whole bunch more at once. So it mines everything one pocket around. at some point AI will be writing these comments. You won't be able to tell real engagement from fake. Just dystopia is near. Yeah, that is true. I mean, you could be AI, but I mean, we already can't tell. But I mean, one of almost the more kind of weird, disturbing things about that is like, you know, if you quiz me and say like, could these comments be AI? You know, I understand like ChatGPT is good enough now. It could fake all that conversation, but like and I know that in the moment, but then after a while I forget that is true, and then I like, you know, like if I have a conversation with you, if I have no reason to think you're AI, and then I have a conversation with you for hours, eventually my guard is down, and I'm like, this is not AI. And I find myself every once in a while I forget that ultra sophisticated AI exists, and then I'm looking at stuff. Yeah, AI won't donate. That's the well, actually, I do have some interesting theories about that. I kind of wonder if Google understands that the next, like the final frontier is going to be like real human connection, and part of it is like they have a bunch of bots that are you know, like if all of these are bots designed to basically pull me into this whole, you know, streaming thing, give me just enough to get me into it, because ultimately, like, if Google can record, you know, thousands of hours of me and other people, then eventually they can just learn how to, like, they can simulate the whole, you know, real human experience. and then it'll just be like bots donating money to bots. See, I missed a couple comments. Is there a way to win this game? Or to what end are you mining forever? It's a forever game. Currently the game is so like, the game is so unsophisticated. It's almost not even a game. It's kind of like the minimum viable product. So it just has, you know, two crafting recipes, allows you to move around. Right now it's kind of like, if you use it for a while, well, I guess if you have a faster computer, it's not bad, but on this computer, it gets kind of like unplayably laggy. So I'm making improvements to it and just play testing it while I stream. Let's get some 99.99% polysilicon metal. I have some. Do you? There are AI agents that can output 10,000 times what a person can. 10,000 times what? Like what kind of output, though? Google's too dumb to pull it off. I don't know. Maybe. Some young startup will get there first. This is actually a good game for people with photosensitive epilepsy. Huh. Why is that? I guess just not super flashy. Don't have any polysilicon metal. I was actually thinking about selling some. I should put some like a polysilicon starter pack on my store. Because of how chill it is. Yeah, I'm hoping to add a bunch more stuff to it. I guess if I do make it more sophisticated, it probably will become flashy. Wait until metal prices go up. Yeah, that's why I've been stocking up, so that when it goes up, then I'll be rich. And then Intel will have to come to me. Silicon isn't a metal. It's a metalloid. Like I said, I don't know what that really means, other than that's what I heard. I guess in terms of the condensed matter physics theory, you've got, let's see, I think the electrical distinction for metals is, what is it? There's the conduction band. It's like about the energy level of electrons. And in semiconductors, the, what is it? The conduction band and the valence band overlap. And then in, yeah, I gotta go back and study my chemistry. Yeah, I think in insulators, they're totally, the bands are totally separated. In semiconductors, they're like close, and then in metals, they're overlapping. Some properties of a metal, but more like a ceramic. Yeah, silicon, it kind of looks like it's like a purpley glass. It's a strange color, or like purpley silvery glass. Silicon equals magical thinking rocks. Yeah, basically, if you just put the right doping in there and put some traces through it. Metals on the left side of the periodic table want to get rid of their electrons. Non-metals, how do I say it, want to get more electrons or something. Silicon is on the right side. Yeah, there was it's been a while since I looked this up, but I think the one of the key distinctions was about like valence bands and conduction bands. It's just like the level, the energy level at which the electron is. And I think when one person described it somewhere that there's basically no such thing as insulators. There's only high band gap semiconductors that we call insulators. Yeah, you know, if Google wanted to, they could do some interesting like psyop stuff. If you even if Google had like one bot that just came into people's live stream chat and it would like shift the conversation toward things. Man, the future of like information control is really interesting. Anybody who has the power to control all this stuff is very powerful. If your game is open source, you talk about how you implemented the infinite generation. Yeah, so for that you can use as long as you have a noise function. Must be a helicopter going by or something. If you have so you can start with a noise function, and then as long as you have coordinates, you can just sample the noise at that location. And so basically, quite literally, there's a noise map for this area of the map, and it's basically like, if you just think of overlapping waves, and what I have is I have some large waves, like a large what would you call it? Large period waves that span quite a bit, and when that wave goes over a certain threshold, so I just encode. I say like, if the noise of this location is greater than a certain value, then it makes this blob, and so that's how you get you get connected structures, smoothly connected structures. So that way this whole thing, and then right in the center, like the density or the height of the wave is higher, and so then it crosses into my threshold in the game where it just says, okay, there's high density here, so put some iron there, or iron ore. And actually, if you check the code, I think the class, it's called the chunk initializer thread state. There's a like an if statement in there, and that goes through the different levels, and it generates the terrain. And if you can generate this consistent noise, if you can deterministically generate this noise, starting with like an x, y, z, whatever coordinate, or you can do it in any number of dimensions, you can make these connected structures. So like the caves. See, is there any caves in here? Let me try to go up and get into a cave. But the caves, the caves in this game are not really great, but they're basically just there's I think some threshold where I think what I did is I added like if when the threshold goes through this range, then make it up an air pocket. I guess my game's actually starting to lag again. My query optimization didn't do much. But yeah, so actually the best thing I could say is if you want to learn more about it, look into Perlin noise. There we go. Yeah, so if you just kind of had like random, if the blocks were all random, there would just be like a kind of disconnected mixture. Like every block would be a random block, some would be air and stuff like that, and that doesn't make for a game. You want like connected structures, and so this whole air pocket out here is just because, you know, it's like if you imagine like an actual like terrain map or something like that. So the amplitude goes right here. It's going between a range, and when it goes between that range, I just turned it into air, and the value where that happens, you can check in the code, my chunk initializer thread state. I guess that's how Minecraft works too. Yep, that's exactly how it works. I think Minecraft uses Perlin noise as well, and I'm actually thinking that I should probably use Perlin noise. I actually made my own noise function that's based on it's using the SHA-512 hash function, and I used it because I wanted to get a higher quality, smoother noise. So noise that does not have more of a frequency bias, because Perlin noise is not like the purest perfect noise. It has some biases, and there's also I think if you use a seed value of 0, you get like symmetry around the diagonal edge. So I thought I'll try something more professional, but the noise function I think actually does slow it down quite a bit. So I don't know, I might make it configurable so you can like have a couple different ways to configure the noise. That must have been really interesting because I went up to 17 concurrent viewers. But my game's starting to lag really bad. Hey Carlo, how's it going? Welcome again. Yeah, I'm streaming a bit earlier. I guess I'll have to maybe make an effort to stream a bit earlier. I'll catch the crew when people come home from work. I thought maybe cryptographically secure hashes would be relatively slow. Yeah, it's well, I think there's different threat models with hashes. I think some cryptographically secure hashes you want them to be fast, but I think it depends on your purpose. Because the B2 sum command is a cryptographically secure hash, but one of its claim to fame is that it's much faster. Could you do any resource cleanup to help with the lag? I don't believe so. I did some debugging or some profiling last time, and I'm pretty sure that the issue with the lag is actually database reads and writes. So when I first start the world, so if I quit right now and then so I do Java let's see if this works. Okay, good, it worked. That's the first time I've tested that case. I changed some of the way that the command line arguments are parsed. So so it's much faster now, and that is because I claim it's because I started a new game, and so the problem was once the game map was filling up, it was starting to lag because the database queries were starting to take a long time. So it's on my to-do list to fix that up so the lag problem hopefully goes away. And I don't know, hopefully I can fix that, because if I can't fix the lag issue, that's going to be a big problem. But I'm actually thinking maybe the way to go, I think the issue is I'm going to need to have indexes on the tables, because I need like the constraints. I need a unique constraint for the coordinates and stuff. But I may make it dynamically. I may make it create new tables, because if I create a new table, then there's going to be like a separate indexes. So basically, like a new table every what would it be, like maybe a maximum of like 10,000 blocks per table. So what I could do is just for every coordinate in the map could be mapped to a table, and then that table would only store that the stuff in that coordinate range. That's one option. So for I have the game working with, right now it's using SQLite for the single player. I have a kind of like prototype thing that I maintain, which goes over network communication, and so that is a separate, a completely separate server and client version, and then that one is using Postgres database. And the other issue is that this is a slow computer, so it is kind of, it's expected that it would be painfully slow. But on my main my actual main development computer, it's actually quite good. I can, like, as fast as I want to move around the map, it'll auto generate the map for me, and it's like right now, if I move fast this way, I can easily get to unloaded blocks, but on my other machine, I'm like constantly chasing it, and I can never actually reach it. Well, younger new one, don't get Intel 13 gen. Yeah, 13 or 14th gen, I guess. Yeah, that's quite a big issue they have with their CPUs. It's quite surprising that they would, and they seem to be just kind of like, whatever. There's no like no big recall or anything, or they're just like, we can't defend this. We'll just collect our money and hope it just goes away. $13,900K. You have one, Carlo? Oh, that sucks. Have you had issues with it? Nothing so far. Seems to cause crashes in some games. Recently did BIOS upgrade and will enable Intel profile. Yeah, I think they probably I think they're probably rushing out some, like, I don't know, microcode updates or something. Or I mean, I watched some of the what was it? Level 1 Techs, that guy. I forget his name, but he seemed to be suggesting it might be like a voltage issue. Like, there's, from what I understand, within the silicon lottery, like not every CPU is identical, and some of them. Oh yeah, Wendell. Some CPUs, it'll just require a bit more voltage, and there's some kind of like, I guess, conversation that happens where the CPU requests a certain voltage, and if you happen to get one that requires a higher voltage, then because it's just it requires that higher voltage to be stable, and if that voltage is too high, then that kind of like fries it or something. It's pretty rough. Like, that's I remember in school reading about, there's that famous what is it, floating point bug in the Intel CPU from, like, when was it, the 1980s or something. And that was like a historic thing that so incredible that you could have a flaw in the CPU, and that would be the cause of your errors. but to have like the actual CPU be defective and to have these like intermittent random errors. I mean, it's really, the cost of this is not just in the cost of the CPU itself. If your CPU dies, it's now, it's like the maintenance and waste of time cost. Like, you can have a component, like the CPU might be worth, I don't know how much is a new CPU, like a few $100. But if you have an expensive technician or like a server cluster, and you're wasting days, or like you waste a week debugging this, you have a team of people and like some $1 million project that's on hold, and you're like, hey, where's my software bug? And you're doing all these software tests to figure out what's wrong with your code, why does it crash, and then you find out it's the CPU. That's where the cost is going to be on this. Because I think that the CPU is used in some like data centers and for gaming servers, and yeah, it's gonna hurt them big time. I mean, I'm thinking, I had always been like on the edge, thinking like, maybe I could try AMD, but I was always like, nah. It's like, I don't want to tempt fate. Maybe I'll switch, and then there'll be some problem with it. And I wonder if server CPUs have the same issue, or if it's just desktop PCs. Yeah, I would imagine that consumers probably get the lowest quality stuff. Consumers are like the bellwether for everything else. I think it was originally caught by a game programmer. Yeah, I think it was. Well, I don't know who, like, I guess originally caught it. That guy Wendell. I watched a video of his where he was talking to someone who collects crash statistics on video games, and that was where it started to become clear that there was a pattern. I personally have high hopes for RISC-V. Yeah, RISC-V is not something I don't know too much about, but I know there's a lot of people behind the project. Yeah, I guess I'll have to try. I mean, theoretically, if I do, like, basically partition the world into, like, basically, thousands of different tables, and I think if each table basically represents like a slice of the world or something, that'll make it get pushed up in the cache. That should hopefully dramatically improve performance. The new Raspberry Pi Micro apparently has RISC-V built in. Huh. What Raspberry Pi Micro? Yeah, the Raspberry Pi has so many different Raspberry Pis now. It wasn't too long ago that I got around to buying a Raspberry Pi 4, and then they released Raspberry Pi 5, and And I've also got a whole bunch of Raspberry Pi cameras that I bought. Raspberry Pi Pico. That's a newer Raspberry Pi Pico? Yeah, I've been meaning to actually buy a Raspberry Pi Pico and play around with it, but not enough hours in the day. Yeah, they've had the Raspberry Pi Pico for a while now, but I wonder, is it a newer version of the Pico? Pico 2. Yeah, I've been meaning to play with it to see if it's like a good alternative to an Arduino. How much is the Raspberry Pi Pico? I remember getting I bought like a massive bag full of Arduinos from eBay for like, I don't know, $100 or something. That's what I have powering my or controlling my tilt, or my rotation stage, precision rotation stage. $5 TM. Oh, is that one of those like limit one per customer things where you have to? Because I know Raspberry Pi itself, the whole idea was like to make a cheap computer, but yeah, 15 months to get it. But I've found it consistently impossible to buy a Raspberry Pi for less than $100. Once you get like the power adapter and everything and get it shipped and. That's super laggy. I should add some cheat codes. Make it so you can mine like a massive, much more massive area. Maybe we'll just add some more game mechanics. See you later, Onyx. Levon Shefton, I missed your videos. I haven't been publishing videos because I've been busy making videos. It takes so much time to make videos. I spent many hours today filming a new video, so that will hopefully be out soon. Yeah, it took a bit of time too to get the Kickstarter set up so I can gotta bring in some money. So that's to get the Kickstarter out there. I can just kind of have it out there, and people click on it. And how's the work situation going? So I have I have been doing client work for a bit. The client currently wants me to pause, and he's a bit late on some invoices, so I'm gonna hassle him for some more. Hassle him to pay up a bit. But in the meantime, I'm just kind of. I mean, like I've mentioned in my videos, I think that the future is not in like consulting work. It's going to be, some form of this kind of thing. So, I mean, it's also this not this whole like making money from social media. It's not 100% conclusive that that's a viable thing for me. But I don't know. There's kind of glimmers of hope. Like I haven't published that many videos, and then I think yesterday the YouTube revenue was $32, which is it's not too bad. So that if I get that every day, that pays the rent currently. So if I can just make more videos and make those numbers go up, then once I could get to pay the rent, then I could just make even more videos and sell some merch and. And it seems like YouTube is it's basically a way to advertise. Like I'm advertising right now. I got my everyone who sees this video will see the Kickstarter and think about. And I know for sure from the last stream I actually got a few conversions from that. So we'll see. We'll see how much I can raise from this Kickstarter, and maybe. We'll see. Don't hold me to it. But I'll maybe try to do. I'll maybe try to do 2 live streams a week until the Kickstarter is done, at least, just to gather some data on what the conversion rates are. Man, it's super laggy already. That's not loading up there. Wow, it's like slowed down to nothing. Let's see, that is 8 megs. Actually, How's your goal going? Well, I met my pledge goal of $14 pretty quickly after the Kickstarter. Last stream I got 3 pledges. This stream I've yet to get one. So there are 155,000 blocks. So that's the scale it takes to start lagging. SQLite is surprisingly hard to use, I find. At least to administrate. I mean, I always forget all of the commands. It's weird. I think sometimes I need a semicolon, sometimes I can't have a semicolon. Oh yeah, and it's not just it's not just XYZ. I'm forward thinking. I have it set up for 5 dimensions, so eventually we can have extra dimensions for maybe, like, you know, temperature or something else. You could have temperature and pressure. I heard the engine for 4D Golf has been made open source. 4D Golf. I can't even imagine what that is. Let's see if my help flag works. I've never tested this. Nope. Oh yeah, that makes sense, because I forgot to actually make it do something. Let's see how far we can go down. All right, that's the bottom. It's from the guy who also made a game in hyperbolic space. Hyperbolia, I think. He has nice devlogs on YouTube and such. Interesting. I do vaguely remember something about a game that was like in 4D space, and it was just like really mind warping. Actually, it is. Well, yeah, in memory. Maybe that would work better. It is SQLite, but I do have I have a few flags to disable journaling and stuff. I guess. Yeah, I wonder if it's I wonder if I'm already using that, maybe. Because if you use in-memory database, and then you exit the application, does it I assume it writes down to persistent storage, and the in-memory aspect is like it does that while it's in use, maybe. See, it's in block manager, server, bean, post processor, I think. It's a super crazy class name. Because I was basically trying to fight something that Spring does. So journaling mode is in memory. I think it's all in memory, and if you want to be persistent, you have to transfer it out. Haven't used it. Considered something. Yeah, I mean, one issue though is, I guess if your game crashes, then you're out of luck. You lose all your blocks that you mined. Yeah, I'm really not sure. My game is, yeah, I guess you could, have manual checkpoints or something. I don't know, like the way the game works, it doesn't do any kind of, it's not very considerate on your hard drive. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's like crazy write amplification or something. Like it might be, I would imagine it is basically constantly, stressing the disk. I know Minecraft has some, it has like some background thread that writes stuff out periodically. So maybe it is necessary to have it be more considerate that way. This here is where I set up the like initial connection parameters and stuff for SQLite. I also find it kind of hard to use because there's certain it's always hard to figure out what the right way to set the parameters. Because one of the things I tried was JDBC SQLite file. Oh yeah, one of the things that I tried to make it faster was there was some it was like for the parameters it was like rewrite batch statements equals true or something, and I never figured it out, but I added this I think it was this. I added this, and because that was supposed to make it. Some people were like, "Oh yeah, that gave me like 100 times performance improvement," and so I added this, and then I found out that what it was doing was, for some reason, it would take the file and it was putting the question mark as part of the file name. So the actual block world, it was just adding question mark rewrite batch statement equals true to the name of the SQLite database, and it wasn't actually like parsing the query string. And I couldn't Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's some way to do it, but I remember Googling a bunch, and so there's got to be some special way. You got to probably use a different class or something, or I don't think my syntax is wrong here. I remember looking this up to try and look up the specification for how to actually specify these. Oh well, that'll be more for investigation. Let's see, this is getting kind of old. I've established, it doesn't crash, that's good. Let's see, the other things I did were, so I, new argument parsing, it's using J and I now. I guess I could actually demo that. If I let's try this as a test. Maybe that's not working. So I made it. I thought I made it so that you can do, you can use either an equals or just specify nothing. Okay, so now I should be able to do the following. So I can do that, and of course it breaks the UI, but there we go. There's my signal handler is talking to the, I have a separate thread that just listens to the, listens for the signal window change, and then there we go. So just to get that single event was an insane amount of work, and so much work to set up the shared library. And I guess I can review some of that. Core C++. Okay. So, and what I wanted was, I just wanted a function that I could call from Java. So I want to have like a dedicated thread in Java that just, all it does is it sends a call and say, get me a signal window change event, and then it blocks on that, and it doesn't return. Now, of course, a signal is even in C, it's not, you don't just say like, get me a signal. So I had to come up with all this, like, I got some semaphores and mutexes and all kinds of stuff. So actually, I'll pull up the so right now it doesn't do anything with it. It's not really a background task, but it works for my purposes. So this thing calls this class. This thing returns a reference to the class. That's the JNI class that wraps all the JNI methods that are in C++. And so it just says, while true, try to get a signal. And the way I have it written, the way I have this function written in C++ is it'll return. I just decided for now I'll just send back JSON objects in case I, add more of these in the future, and that way I don't have to rewrite the header files and stuff all the time. So if it's that's what it looks like when it's quitting. Oh yeah, because if I call this and it's waiting for a window change signal, it's always waiting for that, and it's always blocked. But then when I want to shut down, if I'm still blocked, I'm out waiting in some C++ code that's going to block the thread. And I guess I can do like Control-C to kill it, but it doesn't give you a graceful exit. So then there's some other code somewhere so that when the game is shutting down, it knows to send a signal into the JNI library. And this is the C++ function that so it blocks on this semaphore to know. This is basically the semaphore to block it on either waiting for the signal, or there's a signal window change event. And I don't know if this is the most robust thing, but it seems to work for now. So if this thing gets woken up and it sees that it cannot find, if this thing wakes the thread up and then it checks down here and it realizes that there's no signal available, then it assumes that we're exiting, and then it returns this, and then that's how the calling thread knows to shut down gracefully. But if it did get an event, then it returns through here, and then I can handle that, and then the next step will be to actually send that event somewhere and do something with it. And of course there's some just a one-time setup function. So this setup signal window handler. Yeah, there we go. That's the corresponding call from Java. And the actual C++ signal handler. Yeah, I guess at the moment I can't think of other signals I want to handle, but I guess maybe like a sig, which was it, sig term or something, so I can gracefully exit. But yeah, I guess there probably are all sorts of other weird signals that I might want to handle, and now it's a pretty reproducible, pretty copy pastable solution. Now the actual JNI stuff. So these, let's probably make sense more. Start with the library. There's is surprisingly this seems like something that not many people actually do. So I had to go through a few steps to figure out like what's the actual process for making these JNI libraries And there's a bunch of outdated guides on there. So it was one step was just to like figure out how to just use, you know, like Java C on the command line to figure out how to make C++ code callable from Java without like Maven or anything. And then once I had that, I looked at some other examples to figure out this approach. So on everything that requires the block mining simulation core, it actually runs a make file from Java. And so this Java C command, there used to be something Java H, but then that was like deprecated, and so the new way, I guess, is through Java C. And which is it? I think it's the the -H. So that runs Java C on this class. And that is the code, that is the so the way you can these methods here, you can just put native in front of it. And I'm not sure of the full implications of that keyword, but I guess what that does is so these methods here, these 4 methods, that is what is when you run this statement here. So this is, you can take each of these and just put it on the command line. So Java C space D space target classes /H. That's just one long command. You run that, and then that step generates this file. So this is the auto-generated file, and you get these crazy long-looking function names here. And then you can implement those, and then from that you call whatever functions you want. Like my git sig winch. Remember writing those by hand? Have you done JNI before? Yeah, the other aspect was when you start the program in Java, you have to load the library. On Java with the NDK. Interesting. I haven't done any mobile development in quite a while. The Extreme Labs days, that was the last time I did any mobile development. Yeah, so here's the trick for loading the library. So this .so file is actually in the jar. So you got to make sure it's packaged in the jar at the right location. And then I guess this .get resource as stream, that was a new one for me. From that, you can load this. And then I guess you've got to copy it in. I'm not sure how robust this is. There's not a lot of information on this, so there might be a better like best practice. But anyway, you just copy in the library, and then you can use the system.load. And if you're loading it from an external .so file, like I have this here, so I can before I actually got all this working, I just had like a little script with 3 statements in it, where I just did, manually run the Java H command and then the C++ command instead of messing with the make files and everything. And here's the make file. There's a project called Swig that came out a while ago that does that generation step, but for many different languages. Interesting. For is that to call? Or I guess which direction does it go in? Is it for calling out to other languages from Java, or? Yeah, one thing that was a bit confusing was figuring out how these like arguments work. There's some demo code that I found that's like it's all this. Oh, I should probably run this through Valgrind. I never tried that. There's a bunch of like cleanup functions and stuff you have to use. This demo code also has it looks like it has like the latest C++ like Lambda functions and stuff. That stuff is awful. The newest C++ standards are like they should go back and make the existing stuff better. Adding new stuff to the language just makes it worse. They should invest all that effort in like compiler tools and static analysis, and like eventually C++ is going to be so incomprehensible that no one's actually going to even try to implement the latest standards. Because to write a compiler for it now, you could spend 10 lifetimes learning like every single going back to the very first C++ standards. Agreed. More syntax sugar doesn't make a language better. Yeah, I think it was a few versions ago. There was an error in the standard. There's some like I didn't follow it, but I remember there was some significant hearts coming up on the chat. There's like it just keeps going. Is I don't know what that means. I wonder if someone like is hearting it and unhearting the stream. There's only 11 viewers here. Does anyone know what that is when the heart goes up? Does that mean someone hearted it once? Or when you heart it once, does it make multiple hearts flow up? another one. I should come back, but I have to go again. All right. That's the that's what makes that's what kind of what I like about streaming from the viewer's perspective. It's like it's nice to be able to just like check in on people. Nice to see some code. Yeah, I'll try to do more of that in the future. Yeah, I'm not sure how I'll probably continue to start off the streams with the latest play testing of the game. It's just decent. Like I have to play through it to test that I'm not adding new bugs anyway. So it's a good way to just like kill time and space out. And also find potential bugs at the same time. And then maybe I'll do more reviews of the new changes that I add. I guess I have some new code for. Actually, this is lagging really bad, but I don't understand. I can't see why. Is that this is an empty world? I wonder if it's maybe because I started with a log file. Okay, maybe that was it. Have you tried running directly in TTY? Wonder what the difference would be. What exactly do you mean by TTY? Like directly in the TTY? Because this like technically is. It's just like there's no graphics here. Oh, yeah, that's it actually works. I've tried it. Can you make flash loan kind of stuff? I want to learn how to get flash loan without investment. I think you're on the wrong channel. Let's see. You can loan my flash drive. Yeah, they're talking about investments, flash loan. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. You can't really see that. I can't. It's on the TTY, so I can't make it bigger. Actually, there is you know what? There is a command. There is some command that can scale the fonts, but I forget what it is. I think I actually might have even written a blog post about it. But okay, let's try and run the game. Java jar. All right, here goes. So it's probably going to be slow because it's going to load a lot more area. Is it going to crash or something? Maybe it's lagging. Yeah, it's not able to, it can't render some of the characters, but I can hear the hard drive going, so it's doing something. But in theory, it works. Yeah, there's like a frame buffer. There's like a frame buffer terminal you can use, so you can use it on the, like, what do you call it, console, or. But I don't think it'll render emojis. Let's see. I can hear the hard drive going, but let's see if I move around. Nope. Let's load it again. Interesting. That should work. I don't know why it. Yeah, that'll have to be that's a bug case. It's supposed to work. There might be. Oh, I wonder if it's blocked. It's getting blocked on trying to read the cursor position, because I have some code. I edited things so that it'll empirically measure the width of characters. But then again, it has rendered a bunch of the characters, so yeah, I'll have to that'll have to be a bug fix. Oh wait, I had to, you know what? This is open. Maybe the database was locked. I mean, I think I was probably opening the same database. Oh, I went to. Oh well. Nope. I guess we'll give up on that. No, actually, I like that. One of the premises, it's not it's not an authentic terminal based video game unless you can play it on the Linux console, and that's part of the that'll be like the part of the eventual design of it. Is it should either work or it should be easy to get to work in a primitive environment like that. Because one of the main reasons, if it works easily there, then that means that it can be ported to basically anywhere. And I did have it working on the console before. I don't know what happened. I added some new. There's some new code. So what it does right now, when it prints to the screen, it will. If it doesn't know, so there's a few places in the code where I need to know the width of a character to make the display right. And in those cases, what I do is I move the cursor up to the corner, and then I print something in the corner of the screen, and then I actually have another. There's the thing you can an ANSI escape sequence you echo, and then it'll read. You can read on standard in the cursor position report. From that, you can empirically measure how wide a character is, because in general, like if you want the most portable way of measuring characters, that's what well, even that is not good enough. You have to do that because in this is GNOME Terminal, but in Tmux or Screen, characters can have different widths, and you can also set there's so if you change this will literally change the width of characters. So and let's see. Oh yeah, so it's already broken. So that might be, so what it's done now is, because I changed that while the game is active, the game would have to, you could make it so the game forgets how wide characters are, and then it reruns the code. It's all crazy. So if I quit and then open it again, it should learn, it should remeasure how wide the characters are, and then hopefully be it'll realize that I think it's rocks, and I think some of the frame actually is I think the frame characters end up being two characters. There's other like borders along the edge are two characters in wide character mode. But anyway, my guess is that maybe some of that code is blocked. Like maybe when I echo that escape sequence, it's not actually echoing back in the character information, and then it's getting blocked. I'll have to look into it. Actually, on that topic, let's take a look at some of that code. So that's in that is in character width measurement thread state. I like lots of threads. So yeah, I ended up making a separate thread specifically just for this task. So whenever something needs whenever somebody needs to know the character width, it just tries to grab it, so it either ends up getting it from a cache, or it'll send a message to this thread, and this thread, I'm probably gonna make this thread, when I refactor some of the UI stuff, I'll make this thread be solely responsible for all the I/O, because it's not going to be good to have a large number of different threads printing the screen at once, because there's going to be race conditions. So anytime I want to print something, I'll have to send it to this thread, and then this thread will manage all the I/O. Because technically, to print something, if I have to first measure the width of a character, I have to print something, and then I have to print a test character, and then echo that escape sequence, and then on standard in, I have to read the input. So in general, you can potentially have to read input in order to print something if you want the characters to align right. Let's see, where is that escape sequence at? Oh, I think that was in... let's see, it wasn't long ago that I wrote this, and I already forgot how it works. So this gets a text rendering, text rendering engine. Yep. Oh yeah, so I, probably can't see. So that happens after. Yeah, because it's kind of a nightmare to have like multiple threads that might want to write stuff, and then have to do this like character width measurement thing first, because I have to make sure there's only like one pending request to measure a character width. And I think I had really bad naming on my classes. There's like, yeah, text. Oh, that's text width. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so here's the here's the code that actually does the critical stuff. So move cursor to known reference point. So that's just value 1, 1. And I have a bunch of flushes, which I probably don't need those, but maybe I do, just to be sure. Yeah, so move the character to this fixed position. That's that ANSI escape code. Then print this piece of text. And then issue this ANSI escape code to request it to report the cursor position. Then move back to 0, 0 and redraw some of the corner frame. So really sketchy code, but so that basically just draws some of the top left-hand corner again to hide the character, the test character that was printed. So you don't even see it in real time. And then so this does its thing here, and so this is a complicated nightmare to manage. So then in a completely different place, standard input. Are those X-term specific? I think they yeah, maybe they are. I think that might be part of the issue with that getting blocked. That might be why it's not working. Yeah, I'll have to double check that. I guess before, like to call into end curses, I would have had to use. I didn't use end curses in this before, so because that would require JNI. But now that I have a JNI whole interface set up, so maybe I should be using JNI, or I should be using JNI to just call it end curses to get this information. But I don't know. I dug through. I dug through some of the source code on end curses, and yeah, like end curses seems like it's designed to support some really weird terminal platforms. Like it might just be simpler just to like support this small number of like a Linux console and an Xterm. Because in modern systems, I don't think there's many like as long as it supports VT100 compatible stuff, it's good enough. I probably don't really need to care about every kind of obsolete, some platform that only existed for a little while in 1980. Yeah, so the point here was so on getting an input byte, it's things are quite complicated now, because when I'm expecting input, potentially from the keyboard, so someone could be typing stuff, but then also I might be getting the response from a cursor position report. So then I want to read in let's see, yeah, on input byte, run this. So I created a special class for to extract the ANSI escape sequences, for example, specifically for cursor position reports. So that's in this class, and there's a few different cases when there's like partial data in the buffer versus a full sequence and so forth. So hopefully what this is supposed to do is allow me to just take this input stream and then extract any kind of special ANSI escape sequences, and then where does it read them? Okay, yeah. So right now, it only supports the only NC escape sequence it's expecting is this one. Was there any particular reason you chose to use Java for this game? Java is Java's well supported. There's just like it's a very mature language. There's a lot of people hate on Java, but I would say it probably just comes down to like excluding other languages. So C or C++. I've written enough C and C++ to know that writing a game like this in C or C++ is just there's no way. The amount of like time, it's just so much time wasting on null pointer issues and memory integrity issues and like running Valgrind and stuff. It's just that kind of stuff. You should not be doing that unless you need to. And if you're writing something for an embedded system, maybe if there's a reason you need to use C or C++. Like in this case, I did actually. If you saw earlier how I had to write some J and I calls to actually call it to some C++ function calls, because to get, for example, the signal window change event, that is not supported natively in Java. So for that, I did have to go out to C++. I guess the other alternatives are languages like Rust and Rust. I'm not a fan of that. It's a fairly new language. I know a lot of people are really evangelical about it, but I don't know. I don't really see the appeal. The syntax of it seems really. I know one of the big complaints people have about it is that really difficult to understand syntax, and C and C++ is already pretty insane with the way its syntax is, all the pointers and references to pointers, and C++ is. I spent quite a bit of time learning C, I think fairly well, but C++ is just a whole new beast, and especially with all these lambda functions and things that exist now. And I had a bug recently that I fixed in here where my input would actually get blocked in tmux. If I opened it in tmux and if I accidentally typed a control character that I wasn't expecting, I had an issue in my parser that was making it get stuck and get frozen. So this here is the class for parsing and accepting the ANSI escape sequence, the cursor position report. I could have just used a regular expression, but I figured I might as well just use a parser, so I can, if I need to handle other control codes, I guess stuff like the arrow keys and stuff, that might. I haven't played around with those, but I may have to implement something to support those. But I don't know. We'll see. I'll try to keep it as simple as possible for now, and then keep adding things over time. If I can get the lag issue under control, that'll be the next thing to think about. All right, it's getting pretty late. I did not meet my my goal tonight. I did not get any Kickstarter pledges, so I feel like I'm ripping people off if I end the stream now. But I'm getting pretty tired, so I'll probably, it was a long day. I spent all day talking, and I did like 5 hours of filming today, so I'll probably call it a night. And I guess I'll start again on the Saturday stream. So anyway, I think that's it for tonight. See you guys on Saturday.